And good morning, Newton Falls. Hello, everybody. My name's Dave Lynch. I'm the city manager, and this is our morning update, which we bring to you live on Facebook and on YouTube and on Spectrum channel 1023 on Tuesday and Friday mornings. And it comes to you at no cost to the taxpayer. We're glad to be here this morning because we have a few things to talk about. But I did want to mention the exciting activities of our girls varsity soccer team. They played Crestview last night in a valiant effort. They lost 3-1, but it was great just to see them out on the field. Tom Gregory of Gregory Films was there. That is the Newton Falls goal. You saw rolling into the left side of the corner of the goal, and those are the Newton Falls Tigers celebrating. And they are a great bunch of girls. And thanks to Tom Gregory of Gregory Films for participating in the process of helping us get that game broadcast. You can see it right now on YouTube, the City of Newton Falls YouTube channel. So go there and see what's going on. We've got a lot of other things going on in sports. Tonight, we're going to live broadcast the activity of the girls varsity volleyball game. And also, don't forget the farmers market is coming along. The last one is coming up, and that date is not clear from me. Looking at, I do not see it. There it is, September 26th. Okay, yes. Please come over to the farmers market. More than anything else, it's a lot of fun. And sometimes you find things that you don't find anywhere else. That's really the great charm of the farmers market taking place over at our community park area. So make sure that you participate in that. Well, today is somewhat of a political day. Now, we try not to be political on this program, but we're really just going to expose you to some potential candidates for appointment. In Ward 1, there is a vacancy on the city council, and the city council last night conducted interviews of 3 candidates. Paul King, Brian Kropp, and Adam Zimmerman were interviewed. And the city council now has some idea of what these people are about. The question is, do you know what those potential appointees to the vacancy are all about? And I thought, well, here's one way we can do it. Let's have them on the morning update. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give each one of these applicants, Paul King, Brian Kropp, and Adam Zimmerman, in that alphabetical order, the opportunity to spend 7 minutes with you. Each of them has been sent the exact same 3 questions, and they will have to budget that 7 minutes so that if they use their 7 minutes up before we get to question number 3, that is an issue that the applicant will have to be responsible for because they each have 7 minutes. And let's get started right away with our very first applicant, and his name is Paul King. Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine this morning.
Great, great. Well, I'm going to give you your first question, and the shot clock on your time for 7 minutes will begin. So here we go. Why are you interested in this position?
Well, I've lived in Newton Falls, having bought my home here in 1997. It's a great little community. I recommend to a lot of people that are looking at around. There's a lot of good people in this town. I've seen a lot of positive things over the years since I've been here. I've seen positive growth. Good school system. Our baseball programs here in town are fantastic. And the community itself is grown and maturing as we go along. And I'd like to be a part of that and help secure that future for our children and our grandchildren.
Sure. Well, the next question is, what is the most important priority in Newton Falls?
I think overall the most important priority is keeping the city financially stable. We are now, and we need to keep it that way, and there's various ways you can do it, and that mostly goes through growth, bringing new businesses into the area, filling our storefronts up downtown, building on vacant land that we can bring industry or commercial businesses into the city, which in turn generates tax, water revenues, the electric revenues, sewer revenues for the city, and take some of that burden off the back of the taxpayer and themselves. I think the roads that keep them in good shape, sidewalks. So when you come through town, that's what you see is 534 or coming in, then that's the first opinion.
Sure.
And that's very important.
Okay, we're going to get to question number 3, and I'll remind you in your time, most of your time is still left. You are at 5 minutes of your 7 minutes still left. So you've got quite a bit of time left, Paul. So question number 3 is, what is your closing statement, or can you present your closing statement to the community with reference to your application for appointment?
Well, my personality, I don't get overly excited at things. I like to sit back and listen to people and talk it out from there to see what needs to be done. I've worked and been on the Planning and Zoning Commission now for 18 years. And there's been a lot of growth. We've done a lot of work there in our meetings to straighten out zoning problems from years past where we had a lot of spot zoning and people weren't able to do things with their property because of that. I worked and helped develop the comprehensive plan that we now have in the city. I work pretty well with most people, most everybody. I haven't found anybody I really couldn't work with. May not get along with, but I can work with them. I have no agenda going into this. I have no animosity towards anybody going into this. So, I'll treat everybody fair and equal, listen to their complaints, do what I can to answer their questions, get them answers. Overall, I think I work well with people, and I can get along with just about everybody under the sun. I'm retired, so I have time during the day do things that some people that are holding jobs down just can't do because they've got to feed their family, and that is a priority to them. So I'm trying to think of something else here. My phone number would always be open to people to call or text me. If you have a question, I'll do my best to get the answers for you.
Okay. You got about 3 minutes left. There's anything you wanted to add to that, Paul?
No, I appreciate the consideration of the city council. Most of them I've met, known or watched on television or sat in personally in the meetings and stuff. To give me consideration, think about it, weigh pros and cons. There's 3 people there. They're all good candidates, I think. And I'm sure the city council make the best choice for the city, and that's all I want is the best choice for the city so that we can keep going and keep up the great city we have. We've got great schools here, and just try to be an asset to the city.
Okay, that's great. All right, well, that's Paul King. Thank you so much for participating in this interview process. You have a great day today.
You too.
All right, thanks so much. That was Paul King, who is an applicant for the purposes of potential appointment to the vacancy in the Ward 1 City Council position. And while we're getting set up for the next interviewee, let me get rid of this call and make sure we get the next interviewee on the line. You should be aware of the fact that City Council, by charter, has 60 days from the date of the resignation of the previous city councilman to make that appointment. And since it's been, I'd say, about 2 weeks since that resignation, we still have a fair amount of time. I'd say about 45 days left before City Council by charter has to make that determination. But we are going to bring in our next interviewee right now. And this is Brian Kropp, applicant from Ward 1, undertaking the interview. Yes, good morning, Mr. Kropp. How are you today?
Good morning, David. How are you?
Good, good. Well, Brian, as you know, there are 7 minutes in the process. If you have a chance to look at your screen, you'll be able to see what the countdown is. It's a rough 7 minutes because there's about a 12-second delay between what's in the studio and what appears on your screen. But try to budget your time as best you can, okay?
Mm-hmm. No problem.
All right, the first question is, why are you interested in this position?
Well, first, I'd like to say good morning to yourself and good morning to Tom in the studio there. And good morning to everybody who got up this morning to watch and have a listen to the candidates here for the first ward. I do appreciate the time. I'm interested in the position because I really do believe that it needs filled with someone who has a real desire to do the right thing for the town, for the village, to actually represent the ward that they're from, and to listen to the will of the people, and to really represent well the village of Newton Falls and the people that bring in these candidates for this appointment. I know council has a decision to make, but I really feel like I'm the best qualified candidate. I'm the one who's actually shown interest in the position. I've been involved here in the community here for the last few years and have been active, very, very active with council and with the village government and with pretty much everything Newton Falls. So I'm interested because it's just a carryover of what I've been doing for the last few years now of participating in city government. And I really want to try to bring some normalcy back, bring some transparency and some openness, and bring some the ability for communication. I think is so important. And like I said, I think representation is such a big thing. Being able to communicate what people want, what people need is so important. So that's why I'm interested. I'm interested because I really believe the village needs, a positive aspect, something to build on, something to grow on, and I believe I could be that person in the first ward.
All right. Question number 2 is, what is the most important priority in Newton Falls?
Well, I think there's a couple things. It's hard to. I think it'd be very difficult to say one priority because there are many things in our village that I think need addressed, and I think a lot of that has to do with perception, as far as how we're viewed and how we're looked at, not only by our own residents, by our own people in the community, but also the outlying communities around Northeast Ohio, around the state, Western Pennsylvania, that kind of stuff. We really need to change the view, the how we're perceived, and a lot of it has to do with just the attitude and the behaviors of whether it be council or the administration, and how things are handled on a day-to-day basis, and just the interactions and like I said, the behaviors with the public, with the community, with the village residents, hearing them, listening to them. I think the priorities are getting Newton Falls back on the map in a positive light. Being able to showcase all the beautiful things that we have, all the amazing resources. We have some really great things here in our town that are so unique to just our location, to just where we are geographically, and we're in such a good place. I think marketing, promoting the positive aspects and the highlights of our community are really something that are very, very important, and doing so in a smart way. I have a pretty good background in being able to do that and kind of promote and market. And I have a pretty broad knowledge of stuff like that. And I enjoy those kind of things. I enjoy the communicating with people outside of our community, trying to attract, whether it be families, business, tourism. I'm a member of the Commerce Association here in town. I've been a member of the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'm a business owner myself, and just very active in the community and with people in the community and having a lot of connections. So I really, truly believe the priority should be, bringing back a positive perception of Newton Falls and doing so in a way that uplifts the community, and people can feel proud to tell people where they're from. And, hey, I'm going to go to Newton Falls for the weekend, or we're going to go spend the day in Newton Falls because, we've seen this great promotion of this marketing. They've got beautiful waterfalls. They've got this amazing covered bridge. They've got a wonderful USO community center, which hopefully will get back to its prior prominence. We have amazing festivals and organized activities. We have the 4th of July. We have all of our street fairs and street festivals and stuff in our historic downtown area. We've got amazing business owners that operate downtown in the historic business area, as well as throughout town. And we really need to highlight and showcase those. And I really don't feel like at this time we're really doing that. And I just think that would really help bring back a positive light to the town and the community. And I really feel like I could do that over the course of the remaining part of the unexpired term here for the first ward. And also, I do plan, regardless of the appointment that council decides, I will be running in the primary next year to continue to move forward for the next 4 years for the next term for the first ward. So this is just trying to get in. Excuse me. This is just an attempt to try to start that process, and I really want to get in and have an impact. So I really, truly believe that the priorities are just how we're viewed and our perception, and really getting Newton Falls back on the map in a positive way.
Sure. All right. We're going to get to question number 3, and you are at 2 minutes. What is your closing statement to our community?
Well, my closing statement would be, again, thank you to you guys for taking the time to have us on. I do appreciate that. My closing statement is pretty simple. Everybody that knows me, that's talked to me over the last, as I mentioned, probably the last couple of years, I've been highly active in the community. I've spoken to so many people in our community and the residents here that they all seem to want the same thing. They just want openness. They want transparency. They want to know that they're being heard. They want to know that they're being represented. And they want to know that the council actually has their best interest in mind and will do the will of the people, what the people really want, what they need, and will make those decisions accordingly. Being a good listener, as well as being able to communicate and talk and meetings and that kind of stuff, is so important. Being able to listen to what people are telling, what people are asking for, what people want, what they need, and finding a way to work with other people, regardless of situations, and to make those things happen for the betterment of the community as a whole. Listening to the majority of the people is so important, and I would really do everything in my power to work as hard as I possibly can with council, with the administration. I've worked with pretty much everybody on council. I've worked with yourself, Dave. I've worked with pretty much everybody, and have been open in communications with everybody, good and bad, and that's going to come with people that have strong personalities and ideas. And I'm happy to work with everybody and do the right thing for the community and be that uplifting type person and that uplifting type voice that people really feel like listens and represents them. So I really hope that council weighs these things in as far as the pros and cons, and also takes into account that I've actively pursued this position multiple times, and I was also the only person to attempt in any way, shape, or form to be involved in the first ward this year in any way. So I hope council will take that into account. I know the public is taking that into account. I just really hope to see Newton Falls brought back to prominence. I also hope to get Newton Falls back to actual city status, which would mean we're going to have to bring in some people. People are going to have to move here, bring some businesses. So that's a big goal of mine moving forward, whether it be for the unexpired term or the following term in 2021. All right. I really want to get us back to a city status.
All right. Your time is up. Brian, thank you so much. Really appreciate your participating in the process today. Thank you.
Thanks, David. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. All right. That was Brian Kropp, another applicant for the Ward 1 vacancy. And now we're going to dial up the third candidate that has applied, and his name is Adam Zimmerman, and we're going to get him on the line right now. If I can read my own script here, we'll get him in a second. As I mentioned last night, the City Council conducted interviews of these three same applicants, and this is our chance to have the community see what they're thinking about. Good morning, Adam.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, hi. How are you? It's Dave Lynch over at the Newton Falls Morning Update. How are you?
I'm doing very well this morning. Thank you. How are you this morning?
Great. Well, there are three questions, and you've got 7 minutes, as you know. You are the third and final of the applicants to be interviewed today. And so I'll get right away to question number one, and that is, why are you interested in the Ward 1 position?
Well, basically, I'm not a political person. I don't have an agenda. I've been in this area for 18 years. When the government basically moved into the ward is when I really started to take notice. I've seen the good and the bad that this community has to offer over the 18 years that I've lived here. As he became available, I basically felt that I might be the type of person that can step in and make a difference and get people to work together on their issues.
Okay. You're at about 6.5 minutes, and question number two is,
Sure.
What do you think is the most important priority in Newton Falls?
The most important priority that I've seen so far is what I tend to call the perception of truth. We seem to have several different groups that all believe that all have a perception of one form of the truth. We have a group over here that hears something, hears it one way, believes this to be the truth. We have another group over here, maybe another part of town that hears something that they have a perception of truth. You have the council. Council has its own version of the truth on what they tell, during the council meetings and what they believe. With all these different versions of truth, from what I believe, the city's going to stagnate. Without people working together, without people believing in each other, this city's not going to be going very far. We need to work on that. We need to get that cleared up. We need to get everyone believing in each other, believing that everyone here in the city and the town is willing to work with each other and for each other, so we can make the best for the city going forward.
Sure. All right. Well, the bulk of your time remains. That is, you've got just a little bit more than 5 minutes left. And so you have ample opportunity to respond to the third and final question, which is, what is your closing statement to the community and or the council as it relates to your application for this position?
Well, basically what I've been saying is I really have no political agenda. I'm just here to basically work with everyone to do what's ultimately best for the city while letting the people be heard. We need to work, like I said earlier, we need to work on this perception of truth, get everyone on the same page, get everyone believing in each other and working together to help the city grow. I'm pretty well known in my ward. I walk the streets almost every night. My walks are typically about an hour, and a lot of times they last well over an hour as I stop to talk to people along the way, and we all seem to get to know each other and talk pretty well together. I'm basically just want everyone to know that I'm here to do what's best for everyone, not just for one group, not just for people over here, not just for people over there, but basically work for the entire city, as well as representing the ward as best as I can. One thing I don't believe in is I don't believe in broadcasting what I intend to do out in public forums. I believe in listening to people. I believe in talking face to face, and I believe in letting my actions speak for me, and not just putting things out there for people to see and not following up on them.
Okay. You've got just about 3.5 minutes left on your time. Is there anything you want to add to the remarks that you've made this morning?
I'm just basically looking forward to working with the city, bringing the city to new levels, hopefully. Communication, working together with everybody, providing just ample opportunities for people to get together and be heard and speak their mind and not feel that they are being looked down upon for trying to speak up. I believe that the voice of the people needs to be heard. I believe that everyone has a right to speak, but I also believe that everyone needs to be civil while they're doing it. And that just doesn't go to who's ever speaking at the time. Everyone needs to be civil to everyone. So hopefully we can work on this civility, we can work on this openness, get everyone closer together, and hopefully have a good relationship with everyone going forward.
All right, very well. All right, well, thank you, Adam Zimmerman, applicant for the Ward 1 vacancy in Newton Falls. We appreciate it. You have a great day today.
Thank you. You do the same.
All right. That was thank you. That was the third and final applicant. As I mentioned, the City Council now has conducted interviews of these three fine gentlemen. And my suspicion is they'll also be reviewing the video from this interview this morning, but it's an opportunity for other folks in the community to see what this process is about. Oftentimes, these appointments to City Council happen in such a way that the interviews, as is normal, take place in something called an executive session. So the community doesn't really have an understanding of who these applicants are or what they're about at any time in the process. But now with the opportunity of this morning update, at least people got a glimpse into some of the personalities that are involved in this application process. And again, City Council has about another 45 days or so to make their decision under the charter. If they fail to make a decision, then the mayor actually will make the appointment under the charter. But City Council does not have to use the entire 45 days. They can make that decision at any time during the process, maybe even at the next council meeting, which is September 21. Well, we're getting towards the end of this broadcast, but I did receive a bulletin during the broadcast, and that is that the electricity has been out on Center Street, South Center Street, right in our beloved Newton Falls. And I know that means only one thing. Bill George and the guys from the electric department are out there working right now. In fact, I don't even have to communicate with that department, because as soon as I find out that electricity is out, his department springs into action. And they really are very efficient. Yesterday, we had a power outage on First Street that was servicing Direct International. It happened in the morning, and by 11 o'clock or so, the power was up and running again. The electric department in the state of Ohio with the best average service time, that is getting power back up on again, in the state of Ohio, and that means better than Ohio Edison, better than First Energy. What department has the best record? The Newton Falls Electric Service Department, under the direction of Bill George. So congratulations, guys. Please be safe, as I know you are at each instance, but we all pray for your safety as you go out there and solve these electrical outage problems. Well, we've had a little look into some of the politics. We saw a little bit of soccer today from the game last night. Don't forget, tonight we are broadcasting live on our YouTube channel and on Facebook and on Spectrum 1023, the girls' varsity volleyball game live from Zorn Gymnasium there over at Newton Falls High School. So make sure you tune in tonight. There will be a pregame a few minutes beforehand. And as I say at the end of each one of these broadcasts, God bless America and God bless the city of Newton Falls.